It's awesome to be back with the guys, especially after a long pandemic. So it's great to be back, and I can't wait to continue and to see a lot of new faces. It's really exciting.
And it's pretty cool how quickly you guys can come together, and obviously you need to do that in a tournament like this.
This camp was extremely important. We let the players know that coming in. We tried to put the players in a position so they know exactly what the staff is looking for, so they were in a position to succeed. And you know, it's we're making a lot of tough decisions out of this camp, I can tell you that.
Welcome in the man. Picked to kind of put all that together and hopefully come up with a winning recipe. Nate Leaman of Providence College and Team USA head coach heading up to Edmonton for the World Juniors. Coach, congratulations on that honor. You see the names right there, the 29 names listed on the preliminary roster. I'm wondering this year, compared to years past, how was the selection process different?
Well, you know, it's very different because we weren't able to have our traditional 10-day camp in the summer. You know, normally USA Hockey will have a camp that hosts Finland, Sweden, and Canada. So you really get to see those guys compete against other countries, play at the temple. The tournament usually will be played at. But, you know, it's a different year for everyone. And you know, we had a camp in October with basically our top 40 players, 43 players, I believe. And, you know, it kind of, you know, after that, we were able to kind of get down to this group here and excited to get going. You know, this is a good group. We'll get together. We'll start Sunday, and we have to get this group down to the 25 that will enter the bubble.
Nate, just to touch on that a little more, there's so many challenges in these unprecedented times. And when you have so many star-studded players to choose from, how difficult is that process, especially in times like this when you had to cut down to 29? You mentioned in October you had 40-plus players there, and the disappointment of some of these young players.
Well, I mean, it's been very difficult, not only because we didn't have that long camp in the summer, but also that some of these guys aren't playing yet. So, you know, some guys are playing. We're able to watch and evaluate them, but other guys are just going to kick off their seasons this coming weekend. So, you know, a lot of phone calls, a lot of tape. We really had to rely upon that October camp a great deal. And, you know, it's a pandemic year. It's different. We have to be flexible. We have to move. We have to not let any of the circumstances matter and just find the right 25 that we can go into the bubble with.
Always interested to get a coaching perspective on these short tournaments like this. How is it different from your coaching philosophy or your approach when you're, you know, behind the bench at Providence College versus what we're going to see from you and what you need to see from your team, especially early on up in Edmonton?
It's a great question. I mean, you know, the big thing is you're building much more around the strengths of your group. You know, when you're a college coach, you recruit the players, and you might be able to recruit to your philosophy or how you want to play the game. But, you know, in a tournament like this, we have to find our 25 best players for our country that give us a chance to win the gold medal. And then it's up to the coaching staff to find the strengths of this group and bring those strengths out and play to those strengths. I mean, we want to be a team that dictates. We want to be a team that goes after other teams. And I think this group can do that, you know, and I think that will be one of the strengths of this group. But, you know, the big difference in the process is making sure that you're building upon the strengths of the talent within the group of this age group.
Nate, I would assume as well, and I'm going to ask you, as far as with the high skill and talent, building a team, it's not just about the most talented, skilled players or stick handler or shot. It's about having players that fit a role. And did that come into play here? Because you have to leave off some really gifted players from an offensive standpoint.
Absolutely, Ken. It's a big part of the process is getting guys to fit the right roles. You know, you've played a long time. You know that it's winning hockey isn't just about skill. There's a lot of battle that goes involved. There's a lot of structure that can go in there. And we have to find the best group that we can bring the skill out of, but also that can win. I mean, usually if you're going to win this tournament, you're going to win 2 to 3 1-goal games going down the stretch. So we have to find all the parts that we think can bring out winning hockey, can win a gold medal for our country, and getting guys on the right seat of the bus or getting guys for the right roles is absolutely a big part of that process.
Some familiar faces, certainly from the players that we saw last year's silver medal team, back on the roster for this year's team. Familiar faces when it comes to your coaching staff, too. A reunion of sorts, some coaches coaching elsewhere, but bringing those parts back that made up a big role in that 2015 Providence College Friars National Championship. Take us through some of your assistant coaches, your video coordinator, and how you assembled that staff.
Well, you're right, Jameson. There's some familiarity, but I was also fortunate that Coach Matt and Steve Miller had worked in the tournament the past several years. And I think that was important. I hadn't worked in the tournament since 2009. I wanted some people that have worked in the tournament recently and can bring me up to speed on the paces of the tournament, the back-to-back games, the schedule, how guys might wear down. There's a lot of ins and outs in these tournaments, and I thought having two coaches on the staff that were familiar with the tournament was very important. And then Ted Donato brings a good offensive mind. He'll work with our power play, and then obviously we have the best video coach in the world, in Teresa Feaster.
Nate, I'm going to ask you about a player on your Providence College team, and I'm invested with the New Jersey Devils, as people know along the way. Been there a long time. So I want to ask about the growth of Tyce Thompson, and can Devils fans expect him to be a National Hockey League player with the way his progression has evolved?
I would say I'll be shocked if he's not in the NHL at some point in his life. I think he's a pro now for everything except his body. His body's still catching up. He brings, he was third in the nation in scoring last year. So he brings the offense, but what people don't know about Tyce is what he brings every day in practice. And he brings that pro mentality of every rep means something to him. Every shot means something to him, how he prepares each day for practice. In a lot of ways, he's a coach's dream, and he's our captain this year. We're expecting big things. I think he'll be a top 5 player in the country offensively. So, I think the Devils fans have a lot to look forward to with Tyce.
Oh, boy, I don't know if you're going to be able to control yourself the rest of this show.
It's good to hear for sure.
For the Devils,
but, we never know how these players progress, but it's
right.
exciting because you need to find players in the 3rd round and 4th rounds that can be impact players and help your organization grow, and the Devils think they have one in Tyce Thompson.
All right, a lot of impact players certainly on Team USA's preliminary roster. Coach Leaman, appreciate your time. Wishing you nothing but the best up there in Edmonton. Represent the red, white, and blue proudly, please.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
Good luck, Coach.
Nate Leaman, head coach of Team USA and head coach of the Providence College Friars in Hockey East.